Bring back rock. Hey, it's Dean, and welcome to Bring Back Rock. Today we got something a little bit different. I had the pleasure to talk to Corky Mcclellan. A lot of you might know Corky Mcclellan as the drummer from Baton Rouge. He's also got a great new band out there called Driver's License. He was a really great guy, had a great conversation, and I really appreciate him taking the time to talk to us. I also have to give a shout out to our friend Todd Lane. Todd, thank you for putting me in touch with Corky. I owe you one, buddy. So I won't make you wait around anymore. Here is my conversation with Corky Mcclellan. Talking to Corky Mcclellan. Most of you probably know him from Baton Rouge. He's got a great new band, Driver's License, that we're going to talk a little bit about too. But thank you very much for doing it again.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. You want to talk about how you first got started in music?
Wow. Well, I've loved music since I was very little, and I was the kid. I know it's becoming, seems like I hear this story all the time from a lot of musicians, but I guess it's just part of our blood. And so when I was very small, probably young, 5 years old, I loved music, and I would take my naps by the stereo with headphones on.
Oh, very nice.
Listening to the Beatles and the Jackson 5 and things like that. I remember being in the car and hearing Lean on Me, and I thought the piano sounded very cool. My grandmother's piano was in our garage at the time, so I figured out how to play that with 2 fingers. And so I've always been very, very interested in music since a very young age. And same for my father, who worked his way through college playing upright bass in the Norfolk, Virginia area. And my grandfather, my blood grandfather, who I never met, but he was one of the first pedal steel players.
Oh, cool.
And so it's in your blood, I guess. You just
A lot of times it's in the parents' blood too, and we just kind of pick it up,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember my parents playing music all the time, and that's probably where my love came from.
Right.
Now, do you also play piano?
Well, it's funny. It's because I started out on piano.
Okay.
I've been playing piano the longest, and then I picked up the guitar and played that, and then it really wasn't until about 12 or 13 that I got into drums, playing the drum set.
Get some aggression out, or what brought you to the drums?
I think a very good friend of mine, the people that introduce music to you, those are iconic people, and in my life anyway. So I think the biggest thing that got me was I was spending the night at my friend's friend Chris Henry, his house up the street.
Yeah.
You got your neighborhood gang.
Right.
And we were spending the night at his house, and his older brother, had a ton of records. And one of the records he had was All the World's a Stage, Rush. And he put the headphones on me and said, "Check out this drum solo." And I was just hooked. That's what really, me and about 4 million other people,
Right.
that just, it spoke to me. And so I went down the path to find a drum set.
Very cool. Let's talk about Baton Rouge. When did you hook up with Baton Rouge? Because I know they were kind of then stages, they had different name changes and everything else along the way.
Yep. I moved when I was 18. I moved to Hollywood to attend Percussion Institute of Technology.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask what brought you to LA. So
that's what it was. I'm curious if they're going to come up with a Trombone Institute of Technology.
I'm not holding my breath, but no offense to all the trombone lovers out there.
They call that TIT.
Love it.
But the Percussion Institute of Technology, I was out there, and about 3 months in, I decided I wanted to see what an LA audition was like. And so I went to the bulletin board, showing my age.
Yeah.
We didn't have internet or cell phones yet. This
No, we
was
didn't.
87. And so I found a band that was looking for a drummer, and I tore off the little thing and went home and called and got an audition. And it was, at the time, Voices was the name of
Okay.
the band. And so I auditioned for the band. And from what they tell me, there was like 21 people that auditioned. And I got the gig, and I really didn't intend to get the gig.
You just wanted the experience.
Yes, maybe that's the best way to go into something, not expecting to get anything out of it. But I remember being just floored because there was this guy, um the players in the band at the time. It was Keith Harrison and Lance Bulin and Kelly Keeling. And Kelly, when I first saw him, he was very, very shy and had on these very thick glasses, kind of a nerdy guy.
Okay. Yeah.
But man, when he opened his voice and sang, it was like, wow, what a voice. And I would have to say, to this day, still one of the best voices I've ever played with.
So,
Just an amazing singer. And what were you going
oh,
to
I was
say?
going to say, was he the lead singer at the time? Because he wasn't at first, right?
He was.
He was. Okay.
And it was pretty fresh. It was pretty fresh because I was part of that change that was suggested.
Okay.
Um,
Which
and
was Kelly moving to lead vocals. And
yeah,
okay.
and
Yep.
and a different drummer. So, which, golly, drummers just seem to be in the bullseye for so many cases. What's the problem with the band? I don't know. It must be the drummer. Because Harold Knappenberger played drums with them and came out to LA with them. Harold's a great drummer. He's a fantastic drummer, but I don't know. Who knows what drives people to do things or whatnot? I mean, it's fate. But I was ecstatic and very excited to be involved. Lance was playing guitar, and still, I mean, he's even better now, than he's ever been. But I was so impressed with the band and so impressed with Kelly's voice. And they had done a few demos of some song. There was a song called "Hot in the City." I think that was like the first song I played with them, and that was how I met those guys and got started.
There's no friction between Lance and Kelly with the suggested change or anything. Everything was cool.
Um, I think that you can imagine Lance being put in that direction.
You would think it'd be hard to swallow, maybe.
It would. And I think Lance swallowed a big pill on
Okay.
that. But he was so focused on what was best for the band that he was willing to take the advice that was given. And yeah, I'm sure it I don't, he never really exposed that to me.
Okay. Never really came out.
No, there was
That's
never
good.
any constant, sarcasm or anything like
All
that.
right.
Nothing like that.
That's
It
good to hear.
Yeah, it was always, what's best for the band, stay focused. Lance was our drill sergeant on stay focused.
Perfect.
Yeah, he
And
did the right thing.
and then you guys changed to Cheetah. Was that the next name?
Man, you're gonna challenge me on this because we
Okay.
went through so many.
Well, we can just
Cheetah,
skip the Cheetah. Was the one that got the MCA, um, whatever
yeah,
deal.
MCA publishing deal.
Yeah.
There was Voices, there was Cheetah, there was Meridian. At one point, we were Black Eyed Susan,
Oh, I hadn't heard that one.
and then we dropped that, and eventually later on, I heard of a band called Black Eyed Susan in Hollywood,
Right.
and but the the name came from the story I was told, because I wasn't in the room. But the story I was told was that Amit Erdogan, the CEO of Atlantic, had suggested you need to change the name of the band. It needs to be something from your roots.
Okay.
And so how it ended up was Kelly's from Lafayette, Louisiana. Lance is from New Orleans. So Baton Rouge is right in the middle. And I think that's how we ended up with the city band name.
I
Yeah.
gotcha. It worked. I love the name.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. And I had red drumsticks too. So
Worked out.
yeah,
So Cheetah was MCA, right? And Baton Rouge was Atlantic?
that's correct. And
Okay.
the publishing remained with MCA, uh,
Okay.
I believe. And so the publishing was there and the record deals with Atlantic.
That's an interesting kind of
I might be wrong on that, but
gotcha. I was gonna say, and was Jack Ponte, how was he involved with the band? Because
Jack,
I saw he had like writing credits on everything and
yeah.
produced the albums and
Okay, so we were in LA and we were under the guidance of Jim Recor. He was our manager. He had managed Loggins and Messina, Kenny Loggins, Stevie
okay,
Nicks, Fleetwood Mac. He was in that string.
just a little
And
success there.
yes. And to this day, he's still a very dear friend of mine. And he's the godfather of my son. And so we became very, very close friends. But so we were doing showcases for lots of different record companies. Um, we didn't really play a whole bunch out on the strip. We didn't do that a lot. There was 13 of us living in a 3-bedroom condo and and rehearsing all the time. Jim had arranged for us to rehearse in REO Speedwagon's rehearsal space.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool, and it had a basketball court outside, and everything. It was very, very, very comfortable. We were very fortunate. But we were doing showcase after showcase, and then eventually, Kelly and Lance went to New Jersey to do some songwriting with Jack Ponte, and I think, I can only guess because I wasn't there, but I think Jack fell in love with Kelly's voice and what we had brought to the table, and they wrote the first song I heard was "Baby So Cool,"
Okay, yep, great song.
and when I heard that, I was like, "Wow, that's cool! I love that." And so Jack, I think, took us under his wing, and he was the majority songwriter on everything.
Okay.
He's a very successful songwriter, and he helped us get the record deal with Atlantic. That guy is at the time, and I'm sure now too. I haven't stayed in touch with Jack, but very powerful on the phone. When I talked to him, it was a bit scary because he was very, very powerful on the phone.
Gotcha.
And so he had a strong gift of gab, and I think that helped us get the record deal with Atlantic.
Some people have a gift with that. They can
Yeah,
just sell.
that's right. Yeah, he was good with it.
Awesome. So, what did you do between like Baton Rouge and the new band driver's license?
Well, that's quite a spread, but
Well, if you want to hit the highlights.
yeah, it kind of fits in together. After Baton Rouge, we had done the first tour and then the second U.S. tour. When we came back from that, the music industry had changed.
Who were you touring with? It was it headlining or was it opening?
The second tour we were, it may have been billed as a co-headliner. I'm not sure, but
Okay,
I remember we were out with Every Mother's Nightmare.
right.
And so when we came back, we were actually slated to go out an opening slot for Alice Cooper.
Well, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Oh, it sure would. And but Danger Danger was on the leg before we were supposed to go on that tour, but they canceled the tour due to lack of ticket sales.
Oh, really?
Can you imagine?
Not really, no.
And
Cooper's
that's
still out
how,
there bringing it, so
yeah, and that's how things had changed with the whole Seattle movement and grunge and
it
everything.
happened fast.
Yep. And so it was a very different landscape. And so Baton Rouge, we didn't get together and say, okay, this is it, we quit.
Yeah.
Uh, it just was kind of unsaid and went on to do other things. And so I ended up with Ron Jones, um, and John Grimmett and Stephen Ray, Black Bambi, which was another Atlantic band that they invited me to come play drums with them. So I did. And it wasn't long after that that Stephen Ray, the singer, decided to move on. So that left me and Ron and John. So we were a power trio, and we had so much fun. And I worked at a place in Los Angeles called Third Encore, which was a big rehearsal hall in Burbank.
Okay.
And we had there was a one building that was nothing but storage units. And so we had one of those storage units that somebody before us had put all the carpet padding on the wall and everything, made a studio out of it. So we took over that space, and we just played and recorded music. And one of the songs that we did back then is a song called Hello, Mr. Payne. And that song is on the Driver's License album that just came out in January.
Yeah, I was
And
listening to it today. So
yeah,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So how did I get, so after that, LA, at one point, I got sick of being out there and I couldn't get excited about being there anymore. So the only thing I could get excited about was going somewhere tropical. And so me and a friend flipped a coin, and we said, all right, heads Hawaii, tails Key West. And it was tails. So we loaded up everything we owned and went across the country to Key West, and lived there for a couple of years, and then ended up getting married. And we moved to Nashville for a while, and our son was born. And then I ended up right back where I started, here in Clemens, North Carolina, after all that. And we've been living our life here, and the music still happens. I got to tell you, I've made more money in Clemens, North Carolina with music than I ever did in LA, New York, Nashville, any of that. So this is where I'm supposed to be, I guess.
Well, that's
And
good news. It's good to
yeah,
find where you're supposed to be at home.
that's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and you have your is it S&E music?
SE Music
SE music.
Services.
There you go.
The SE stands for self-employed. I started that 2020, and I had been doing some teaching before then for about 10 years at another place. But I decided to start my own business out of my home studio, and just try to make music full time, and that's what I've been doing.
Or right about the time the pandemic hit too, huh?
Great time to start a
Yeah,
new
good
business.
time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Worked out though, so that's all that matters.
I've been very fortunate, and I've been doing I've been doing drum tracks for people, which is the greatest thing ever. I'm walking downstairs to go play drums, and somebody's going to send me a check for that.
Right.
That is cool, but I love doing tracks for folks, and it's worked out really nice.
I have a friend who, well, actually my guitarist has been in most of the bands with me that he's got a different band right now, and they always hire a drummer. They don't have a drummer. They just,
Right,
when they go
right.
in the studio, they hire a studio musician.
Well, very cool. Well,
And
send them my way. I can
yeah,
email
no,
them a great drum track.
here you go. He says he loves it. It works really well for them. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's talk about driver's license. Who else is all in the band
It's me and Ronnie Jones.
from?
from Black Bambi.
Black Bambi, yep.
And Paul Winger. Um, and Paul was part of our group back in '92 as well.
Okay.
I remember he came in and played some organ, Leslie organ keyboards with us for a bit there. And I think he and Ronnie have been very good friends for a long time because Paul worked with Beau Hill,
Mm-hmm.
who produced the Black Bambi records and many other records. But Paul worked with Beau and was the assistant. So Paul did a lot of work on the Black Bambi record, and I think that's where they became good friends. But Paul Winger, he's in Wichita, Kansas. I'm in North Carolina. Ronnie's in San Diego. And then our bass player, Andy Nossel, he's also in San Diego. He's a very good friend of Ronnie's. I have yet to meet
Oh,
Andy, but
haven't been face to face with everybody yet.
no, I hadn't seen Paul since '92. And I did go out to California last summer, not was it last summer or the previous summer, and got to hang out with Ronnie a little bit then. And but that's how that got started. As I was looking through and cleaning up some stuff in the studio, and I found a snapshot of Nothing. We called the band Nothing back then. And I found a snapshot, and so I tracked down Ronnie and John, a bass player, and sent it. And Ronnie said, "Hey, you want to record a song?" I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And we ended up doing 99 and a half.
Oh, that's a great song.
The Black Bambi tune. And so that worked out so well. We started putting some other material and recording it and just sending stuff back and forth. And Ronnie did the most of the production for the album, and Paul, I think he did a lot too. And so before long, we ended up with an album full of music.
I forgot what the name of the first song off of that album is, but I really love the opening track. I was trying to look it up again.
Oh, that's called Feed the Fire.
Feed the Fire. Yes. I love
Yeah.
that song. It's a
Oh,
great
cool.
song.
Well, thank you. That is an ode to the news as it is today, right?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, very opinionated, commercialized news.
I could almost hear if you put like Paul Stanley's voice on there, it could almost be a Kiss song, in my opinion. I got that vibe out of it.
Well, that's awesome. That's good. I hope it's not a Kiss song, but
right. Not exactly. I just got that vibe off of it. Like, boy, with his voice on it, I could hear them doing that. But I really do like the album. Like, it's kind of just straight ahead rock and roll. It's not necessarily fancy. It's just really a good listen.
Yeah, thank you. It's I'm real proud of it. I was very excited about it, and I actually delayed putting it out for probably almost a year because I was trying to figure out how to sell records.
Right.
I could not do it. I finally said, you know what? I give up. I looked into NFTs. I looked into, how can we sell thumb drives? How can we keep it off of the free streaming services that have really changed how the whole music business runs? And I would get passionate about it because so many of our favorite artists, well, right there, Crew.
Yeah.
So many of our favorite artists. I love Motley Crue, and I know for a fact they could put out some new music that would be killer. It would be awesome. And I would wonder why they don't.
Right.
When was the last new music from a band like that? And I wish there was, but I mean, I guess if they're not going to be able to sell it, they're.
I know that's kind of. I remember Joe Perry saying that. I don't know if we'll make another album because nobody buys albums anymore.
Right. Yeah.
But is there a way to get the driver's license album, or is it only on the streaming services? Like,
right now it's on the streaming services, and I have a notice on my phone today because we we have some CDs that we've made.
Oh, okay.
So I'm supposed to receive those tomorrow.
Oh, excellent.
And because they've traveled across the country. They started out with Ronnie and Andy, and so we're doing like 50 of them that'll be signed copies, and we're going to be offering those through Bandcamp.
Bandcamp. Okay.
Yep.
You know
And
when that'll be up there, or just in the next months, coming months?
yeah, it's up to me because I'm the
Okay.
guy that has to put it up there. So hopefully, if I can get all the material in and get everything signed, I'm the last guy to sign them. They started
Okay.
on the West Coast, went to Paul in Kansas, and then now they're coming here. And they look really good. What I saw on a, a video,
I was gonna say, because I'm a physical media guy. I want to have
awesome,
my copy, and I mean it
very
takes
cool,
up a lot of room, but
right?
there's just something about opening it up and reading the credits, and you you know, back in the day, you know who all the band members were, and you would read the credits to
Yes,
see who the thank yous, to see maybe who else you knew from inside there, and you know,
yes,
all that. It was a more of a ritual than just hitting it on my phone, and
exactly,
it doesn't even tell you who the band members are, you know.
right. And looking at an album when I was a kid, looking, I can't tell you how much I daydreamed about that giant guitar spaceship on the Boston record,
Oh, yep, yep.
right? And the Kiss records that you'd open them up, the double albums, and you could see all the cool things. And one of the things I remember seeing on a Kiss record is there was a guy named Corky
Oh,
listed
really?
on their record. He was an engineer, I think. I think his name was Corky Stasiak. I'm not sure how to say his name, but it's Stasiak. But
Sounds about
his,
right.
but it was so odd for me to see my name somewhere else.
You're not a real common name, so
Right, exactly.
I don't know if it's a nickname or anything, or is that's your
It's
given name?
no, it's
No,
not.
okay,
My given name is Nathan Eugene McClellan.
okay.
I was named after my grandfathers, and I think with heavy influence from my grandmothers. And my mom didn't want to call me any rendition of either of those names.
Gotcha.
So she nicknamed me Corky before I was born. And they didn't know whether it was going to be a boy or girl. So,
Okay.
boy or girl, it was going to be Corky. Yeah. And it
That's
stuck.
cool. So it's been
Yeah.
Corky forever anyway. May as well have been your name.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, that's very cool. Um, what else was I gonna say? So there's now, did you want to talk about, there's no website, there's just the Facebook for the driver's license, is that correct?
Yep. Facebook for now. And uh, we're just taking our time, gradually getting it out there, getting the information out. The Facebook is Driver's License Band,
Okay.
I believe. Let me make sure.
I was gonna say, you want me to look it up? It might be driver's license music or
I think it's Driver's License Band.
okay.
Um,
Do
but
double check,
yeah, I'm gonna double check while
because
I'm.
I think there was another band too that I saw pop up when I did, a Google search to start with.
Yeah, the name of the band. It's kind of funny how that came about because we needed a name. We were going to put out an album. We didn't have a name, so I let me look here. So
Band names
I
are not easy to come up with.
exactly. So I was watching late night TV, and there it is. I found it. I'm so distracted. Driver's license official. That's it.
Driver's
Driver's license
license official. All right, perfect.
official, I believe so. Let me make sure because that post was then. There's two. There's driver's license official and driver's license band, I believe.
I'll take a quick look too.
Nope.
Driver's license music I have.
Ah,
Driver's license music. If you're looking for it on Facebook, all one word.
license music. That's it.
Bingo.
That's the one. Yeah. Um, driver's license music.
So if anybody
So
wants to check him out, check you out there. Is that the best place?
right now, I think so. Yeah, that is
Okay.
the best place. Um, yeah, we're probably going to create some more pathways as in the near future. You know,
Yep.
uh, but so what was I talking about before I?
Oh, we were talking about I think we had just finished talking about the physical media, and
Yeah,
then I just wanted to know where people could go to find information on the band
yes, driver's license music on Facebook and
and all the streaming services to hear it.
yes, a trick to find the name of the band. That's what I
Yeah,
was
we were
talking.
talking about the name. That's right, how it came up.
So
Yep.
I was watching late night TV and on the Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon was talking about this song that is the number one of all number ones on every streaming platform that there has ever been, and it was a song called "Driver's License," and I was like, "That's a cool name, and maybe we could be number two in the search."
There you go. Good
So
thinking.
my devious plan did not work because there's a ton of stuff about driver's license now, and but you can find driver's license on the streaming services. I know on like Spotify,
Yep.
if you search driver's license sleep, SLEEP, which is one of the songs on the album, it will pull up the artist and you can wiggle your way to the whole album that way.
I saw if you're looking too, it's got like a how would you describe the album cover? Like it's a skull, kind of like the Spanish Day of the
Yeah,
Dead type of skull on it.
yeah, that's a
So,
sugar skull.
sugar skull. Okay.
That's a sugar skull.
So if you
And
see the sugar skull next to the band name driver's license, that's the one. Click on that
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. He may become our mascot. I don't know. We may have to come up with a name for him.
Very cool. Any LA story you want to share before we go? Anything
Hmm.
fun or memorable or stand out?
Well, I'm trying to think which one I could share.
There's, pro- there's probably a million of them, and yeah, which one's
Okay.
PG-13ish?
I'll when I was working at Third Encore. Well, let me start this one. When I was a kid learning how to play drums,
Yep.
one of the things that I would do is I would play Tora Tora by Van Halen. And Alex Van Halen has always been one of my all-time favorites. And so I remember being in the basement on my CB 700 drum kit and playing Tora Tora over and over and over to try to get my feet working, you know.
Right.
And I would look over to the left and see the record player as I was trying to, you know, keep up with Tora Tora. And so fast forward to around 92 ish. I was working at Third Encore, the rehearsal hall in
Okay.
Burbank. And and Van Halen was in there rehearsing. So they had their big setup in the large room, the drum set with the pipes coming out of it and everything, the bass drums and 15 SVT cabinets, 3 high, and 15 and 5150 cabinets, 3 high. And so I became acquaintance with Eddie's guitar tech. At the time they called him Zen Boy. So one day I was at home and he called me at home and said, "Hey man, if you don't mind, could you come up here to 5150? Alex is trying to get up drum sounds and he's having to record himself play and then go back to the console and listen, blah, blah, blah." He was like, "I don't know how to play drums. Can you come up here and play the drums for him?" And I was like, "Well, I was going to clean out my sock drawer, but I guess I can put that off."
Find a little time for that, huh?
So one of my biggest heroes wants me to come over. Yeah.
Right.
So I went up there and went in and got to sit down and play Alex's kit in 5150. And I was giving it my best Alex Van Halen licks. But this time, when I would look over to the left, it was through the control room window at Alex Van Halen sitting there at the console. So I was like so starstruck,
That's a
and it
pretty
was,
big upgrade from the
oh,
from the record player. It's
that's right.
kind of mind-blowing moment. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool, and I felt like I had won an MTV contest or something.
Right.
But that was a good one.
That's awesome. I really appreciate the time.
Yes, sir. My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you bet. It was great. Thank you very much.
We'll see you next
All
time.
right. See you, man.
Bye bye.
Bye. All right, so that was my conversation with Corky Mcclellan. He's a great guy, and I really cannot thank him enough for taking the time to talk to me. Also, can't thank you guys enough for taking the time to watch. And Todd, can't thank you enough for putting me in touch with Corky. So thanks to everybody. If you want to check out Driver's License Music on Facebook.com. And if you want to hear their music, they're on the streaming services, Driver's License. You can also check out Baton Rouge's music on those streaming services, as well as Black Bambi, another band we talked about in the video. So check all those out. Thank you everybody again for watching, and I will catch you on the next episode.